I'm going to jump us on a bit before we come back to the sort of AI piece and just answer one question that was on there. I think we can maybe touch on this one briefly, and we might look at covering this in more depth in the future. But there was a question from Keith Watts regarding 5G that I mentioned earlier, and just saying, do you see 5G as a future requirement to support new technology in new build hotels? It's an interesting one for sure. I'm interested to hear everybody's views on this one. So again, I'll open the floor up.
I don't know if Nick, if you want to cover this one. I mean, my sort of principal opinion is that 5G is going to be well adopted. There are some challenges with getting it into buildings because of its short range. So I think Wi-Fi is still going to be around, but there is a definite argument to say that if they can get the penetration through the buildings correctly. How important is Wi-Fi in the future? I'd like to ask Nick, actually.
Well, I think Wi-Fi will be with us a lot longer than people might suggest.
Yeah, I think so.
It is a technology that is well designed for in-building use, right? Certainly 5G is an evolution. Its high frequency makes it difficult to penetrate buildings. It is a potentially high value because of high bandwidth, and there will be services targeted over 5G that exist only over 5G. So I think the answer to the question really, when those services that need 5G appear on the phones, that is the time when you need to invest in it. I think to say that we need to invest in anticipation of 5G without knowing what those dependent services are is a little bit premature, in my view. But I would very much, with the technology that we have today, 4G. I want 4G everywhere in my hotel, right? Yeah. I want to be able to get it in the parking lot. I want to see it in the meeting room. I want to see it in the elevator. I want to see it, of course, in the guest room. And wherever. And hotels are extremely difficult places. I mean, there's a lot of underground spaces and I can think of a lot of hotels where I go in and I lose a signal, or any kind of signal, when I go to certain places. So I think, and I wouldn't stay at them out of choice. I would consciously avoid those type of hotels if I knew. And as a repeat guest, of course, I would know. I would not be a repeat guest of a hotel where I couldn't get a credible mobile phone signal at high value. So maybe that does extend to 5G in the future. But I think we will have ample opportunity to measure our capability and our delivery against the services that are very visible and depend on 5G first. Yeah, that makes total sense. And just to echo some of the comments there, in my opinion, I don't see Wi-Fi going anywhere anytime soon. I think like Nick says, we until we've got a point where we can be sure of even 4G coverage throughout hotels, and we're not there yet as a sort of whole. We can't really be talking about ripping the Wi-Fi out and putting 5G in. I think we're a significant amount of time away from that yet. And I also think, those involved in the Wi-Fi side of things are going to want to keep the innovation moving to make sure that Wi-Fi is offering us something that we need. And I think that's the kind of thing that's happening. And I think that is a topic for potentially another discussion. And the one thing I might say, James, is just to use some very recent examples. We at Citizen M, we very much focused on mobile signal penetration into buildings, and actively install technology to make sure that there is a positive, high quality mobile phone signal in the building. So we do not just rely on what might bleed in from outside.
Perfect. Yeah. And I think that's the answer. And I think that's something that, a lot of hotels, certainly during the development stage with modern modular development and things like that, where you may have these challenges. I mean, you can have those challenges in any building, but, you need to look beyond that assumption that the signal will bleed in from the outside and look at how you make sure you have that signal inside from the beginning. So very interesting point.